All right, so this is still patch 14.4.
Will that be a bad matchup into something like the Jace? We've seen stuff like the
Early Jax pick's much more prevalent over in the LPL. Thank you, Uber Blacktorn, for your resubscription. I appreciate it.
With that in mind, they're locking in the Lee Sin, which
all right, so we are going to have Lee Sin for Kanavi and the Talia pickup. They are hiding where it's probably going to be Karma. I mean, it's going to be Karma support. Could be Jax jungle as well for Milky Way. So interesting little flex right there.
But if that does happen, it means that you can flex things around a little bit more. Jason to mid or top.
Canyon has also been playing Jax jungle.
Well, I think right now that we're pretty set on this being the top side of the map, with all of these players showcasing these before.
Feel that way, and actually,
I say that. Actually, no Jace top lane for Shallow, who, yes, that would be new for him.
Would be gear options that deal with the Jace better early, like the really.
But the Karma could be a support flex as well. Probably just going to be Charon, Karma. Look, guys, I anticipate that this is a jungle Jax, which is what ends up getting locked in, because they're trying to power up Milky Way here, provide carry potential for him, and we have Dokdam on Zeri for some scaling in the bot side. They're going to have to play very passively, most likely in this lane in the early game, and they're going to play Malphite into Jace in the top side.
The absolute opposite end of the mechanical spectrum and goes towards the
It is going to be hard to actually get into the back line, though, onto the Zeri as a Malphite. Seems pretty dodgeable, honestly.
Have one shot at this Zeri at the start of a team fight, then after that point, you have to get through this very obnoxious front line of the Alistar ultimate, and then maybe even the Jax popping his ult too.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I actually love the Malphite here.
Absolutely shot of and shut this Jace.
Zeri and Alistar is pretty okay. Of course, Zeri and Alistar not the easiest to dive, though, it has to be said, between Alistar's ability to throw down a lot of CC.
Would I consider Gen G the best team in the world after a win over T1, or do I have BLG? Gen G will be number one on the newest power rankings I do this week, guys.
Select their lanes. You want to play your strong side, but if you do that, are you leaving the Jace with potentially a Jax turning up as well in too even a position to make Flandre's life too hard? I will be interested to see what the decisions are, because I can see value in both.
Another thing here too, so we see the Aerie coming out of Malphite. This is a thing which we sometimes see against Kennen lanes, because Kennen, if he ever gets hit by the Q, can just press his E and then speed out of the Comet. Now, the thing with Jace is that you can form change, put your acceleration gate down sometimes, and escape the Comet, so you never get Comet value in lane. So see how much Flandre can get work done with that area. I think that's a slight micro-optimization. Again, this early laning phase from topside from Shallow, who does play a lot of duelists, actually.
Yeah,
he's been one of the big Fiora players. He plays some of the Jax. He's played a lot of these duelists before. Let's see if he can get shut down by Flandre, who, again, historically has been someone who's done very well in 1v1 laning phases. And it's not really going to be about top lane for this very early game, though. There's a ward drop down on that bot side buff. Kanavi going to be starting Raptors.
Is, and of course that has become more and more regular, that junglers do not get leashes from their lanes, with how important laning's been. Now actually, honestly, easier it is for junglers to clear the jungle without feeling like they've lost so much health, lost so much tempo by clearing by themselves, and starting on that side, looking to path towards the bot lane where they've got hopefully some of that early pressure.
One thing too is actually that ward that was put down at level 1 was swept out by JDG. So they actually end up clearing that ward very early on, which means that Kanavi will have a little bit more room to maneuver in regards to some of these surprise ganks. And again, we need to really see what happens in this top lane. I think bot lane, because it's Alistar versus Nautilus, you can have 2v2 kills, and I expect Ruler and Missing to put pressure down there. But it's not the level 2v2 fist fight that we see from like the Callistas and the Lucians of the world.
Jax starting on this bot side, soloed out the red buff, now heading up towards his Raptors. Mirrored jungle pathing, heading in those opposite directions. Looking out, flash for the headbutt, flash away from Missing into the hook. Missing just doesn't live up to his namesake and hits that one like a bullseye. Will still be a trade of summoners even enough.
He hits a bullseye on the bull's eye, just hits him in the face. And that was a fantastic flash away. Again, we said that this 2v2 is not really the kill lane.
Summoners even. Looking out, flash for the headbutt, flash away from Missing into the hook. Missing just doesn't live up to his namesake and hits that one like a bullseye. Will still be
not really the kill lane of the Callistas or your Dravens, but these players make it work.
Oh, that hook is so fantastic, and life just steps beyond and leaves Dokdam out to dry just a little bit there.
So this is why in the preview to this series I said, hey, okay, so you have Milky Way, fantastic player of the game, maybe best jungler in the LPL right now. There's a question mark about that. I think he's definitely put his name on.
The Milky Way Kanavi matchup is very tantalizing, guys.
What happens in this 2v2? Life has looked good on some of the
JDG has generally not been as good as BLG or top esports, however. Like, Flandre has been fine, Yagao has been fine, but, I mean, you have to be more than fine in your solo lanes in order to really contest for the top of the league.
Kanavi comes down, level 3 to level 2, how absolutely destructive in a...
So Zeri actually just recalled early, got boots, comes back, but the dive goes through.
Still has the spark surge to get over the wall.
Whoop, flashes out of Q.
Still has flash and still get the kill and get on out. 2 for 1. Dive success.
Ruler or Kanavi didn't have to use flash there though, which is pretty nice.
Hold it out in the pregame. What happens if Ruler gets snowballed?
Okay, so Milky Way does have a chance to then make a cross map towards top side. It's a fairly high HP Malphite, but he has no item stun lands.
And the flash doesn't really amount to all that much. Milky Way will need to flash, will die.
Does have a chance to then make a cross map towards top side. It's a fairly high HP Malphite, but he has no item stun lands.
And the flash doesn't really amount to all snowball.
Okay, so Milky Way does have a chance to then...
So we're gonna cross map here.
It's a fairly high HP Malphite, but he has no item stun.
He flashes into stun.
Make a cross map towards top side. It's a fairly high HP Malphite, but he has no item.
I mean, he flashes out of Xiaolao, who's engaged, but it puts him right in range of the counter-strike. So I do trade 1 for 1 in the end.
I think that's a mistake here. I think that giving the gold over to Milky Way instead of Xiaolao, who completely tips this matchup. Flandre can teleport in with the wave not crashed under turret and get huge items. Care's left out to dry. He's going to get killed here. Kanavi still has flash.
Missing gets the Hex Slash in as well on the reset from his death. They get another kill. That's a kill in every lane effectively for JDG. Already the snowball begins.
I mean, the dive is okay, I think, for topside, because you are getting gold onto the Jax early.
I think that's a mistake here. I think that giving the gold over to Milky Way instead of Xiaolao, who
and the wave is going to push out, so Jace doesn't have to TP back.
Care's left out to dry. He's going to get killed here. Kanavi still has flash.
Missing has an opportunity to roam into the mid lane, however. The Nautilus roams are going to be pretty brutal this game, just because there's not a lot of kill threat, I don't think, on the bot side. The Varus, the Varus is going to have the poke damage at least. So he actually does use the TP to get back into lane for the Jace. I don't think it's a freeze, though.
Which we said, look, this is going to be a huge issue.
Yeah, we don't need to see this replay.
I just wonder if he should have just died with peace at that point.
Yeah, it is pushing back out, as we see in the top side. So now actually Xiaolao, who has a chance to potentially freeze this wave. So wave state is actually very good for Xiaolao after that dive, and they did trade the 1 for 1, except they got an assist. So it's pretty good for the Jace overall. Jace still has flash as well, whereas Flandre used his, so it's kind of a potentially vulnerable position.
He stacks up armor, he maxes up his W. In this game, you very much max the W as well. All
right, Jace has to back off the wave. He actually can't tank the wave, so it is going to go into the turret. Oh my god. Milky Way is standing on a ward.
Especially against multiple auto attackers and things get nasty, but Yagao might have to flash.
Yagao still gets rooted after flash, so Milky Way is able to flash leap strike in and get the double stun. That's a mistake, Yagao.
With the leap strike, it is just a wonderful kill onto Yagao, and now Kanavi in a...
Holy moly, he actually gets the tether root there, even after the flash. The timing was bad from Yagao.
And now the flash counter strike with the leap strike, it is just a wonderful kill onto Yagao, and now Kanavi in a dangerous position. But
they tried to bait that out. I mean, they knew Milky Way was there from the ward in the brush.
Disrespectful from Yagao. You just got to get the hell out of dodge as soon as Milky Way goes forward. Maybe worried that there would have been a flash follow from Care, but all the same, Yagao goes down, and that's important because, again, it feels like, particularly with Flandre getting that kill, trading for Milky Way, this Malphite will be a huge issue. The fact that
that's pretty bad, though, because Yagao now has no flash for follow-up ganks from Jax and Karma, and the speed and gap closers on those champions for those ganks pretty good.
It has to back away as Kanavi's coming on over. Yagao back in lane means there is just this mismatch. Double reset, Doc down. Gets away from the hook, life goes over, down has come Care, and that's put Ruler in a difficult position. Nowhere really to go, gets rooted, flashes on forward, does not get the
Gives
kill.
a kill over to
Doctam. Important play in the bot side.
So that's something back. Care getting onto the map. It's not even the junglers doing this. It's not going to lead to anything more. at this point. Dogdam now with 2 kills behind in CS, and you have to, understand that, Ruler being on the poke, Varus can really start, again, forcing Dogdam into awkward situations. Flandre low HP, Kanavi on top side, but on vision. That's why Shallow, who's not necessarily going too hard. Ult comes in, here's Milky Way.
Oh, Flandre gets baited, outsmarted, the counter-strike is there.
Into awkward situations. Flandre low HP, Kanavi on top side, but on vision. That's why Shallow, who's not necessarily going too hard. Ult comes understand that, Ruler being on the poke, Varus can really start. Again,
This is so bad from Flandre, by the way. You're basically just hoping that Zhao Lao, who doesn't have hands, is not going to flash this.
That's why Shallow, who's not necessarily going to
Like, what? You don't have flash up.
hard. Ult comes in.
Milky Way could absolutely be there.
Gets baited, outsmarted, the counter-strike is there. Kanavi takes the Q.
No man on Zhao Lao,
I
who.
don't think he's getting anything more.
We'll see
and
if
they go
Yagao
away with
ults
it.
over.
Like, what the
He's
fuck,
gonna go
man?
Straight in. He is going. He's following it. How much can he do here? He's caught Shallow under the turret.
Shallow in a defensive
Kara's coming up.
position, but the wall now down. Shallow trying to play this one out, just clear most of the wave. I think he gets to back away. How close is Kanavi to 6?
To see, it's pretty close from the looks of it, as Milky Way has 6 right now. Shallow, he is saved by his support roaming up. Care, bot lane, straight up to top lane as well. He's been on the roam despite not having the global himself. I love that we are getting a fast-paced early game.
You know, guys, later this week on my stream, I might just do a day where we just look at Milky Way's play.
And considering how those first kills went, I
Like,
thought,
just
okay,
do a
top
bunch of,
trade
just
at
watch
the
his
top
pathing and, like, just really dig into why Milky Way is so good.
Is immediate, and it keeps the timer ticking a little longer for FPX.
The fact that Jax has all of
Do you guys want that?
You've got triple
Let me know.
engage melee players on JDG. Great flash from Shallow.
Subscribe if you want that.
Saying, if this keeps happening, Milky Way can keep doing this.
And so, Shallow, who first Jace game of the split, gets himself a decent play on that top side. He's not got the individual gold from either of these players top side. That's on Milky Way, so feels like Milky Way is the one that's going to have to take up the carry of the burden of carrying once more. He's done that with real grace this split. It feels like he has really been so reliable. For Shallow, who I am worried for how useful he will be. Doesn't have a CS lead. He hasn't got any plates in top side.
Aim Bob!
Still
Thank you for your
captures
Twitch Prime
Flandre,
sub.
Getting to the point where Malphite can just ignore the Jace.
For a little while, you're kind of waiting at that point on the 3-item mark when the armor penetration comes on through, and Jace kind of has his revival in the game, especially if it doesn't snowball. The late game scalings on Jace now feel a lot more deadly.
Max range ult, Malphite ult, and vision is a little questionable. It was incredibly questionable. Martel Boss 08, thank you for your Twitch Prime sub.
Chance of Care flash Wing and maybe looking for a slow into it. You can see that he's going forward right now. Hits him with the mantra. Milky Way does a lot of damage right now, by the way. He's got himself up to decent components, not on his full Triforce just yet. I wonder if we could be seeing another reprisal of Milky Way's Jax like you saw against BLG, and he just starts getting into all of these fights. Dragon goes down to the side of JDG. Grubs, of course, 2 for 1. To the side of FPX right now. Typically, when you see a Lee Sin, they often hop over the wall, especially on red side. They hop over the wall and they get one of them. Skips away from
Man meet man. Thank you for your Twitch Prime sub. Man meet man likes milkman. He's a food man enthusiast.
It's not going to be that helpful once you get to 2-3 items on Nazaria's Dogdam. Just playing with fire here.
Duckdom has kills, but he's pretty far behind in farm. This is Chuck99. Thank you for your Twitch Prime sub. Is this the year 8 Asian teams make quarters at Worlds? No, because Swiss is a butt-cheek system. And also, inevitably, you know, one of the Asian teams will choke and have a bad tournament.
I mean, the CS lead that we had from early game was basically held even. What that means is that Dogdam hasn't lost any more than they were from that first couple of levels.
Jace had vision on Lee and Malf, didn't know that. Otherwise, trading ult for flash is a good trade, but you have to know that Milky Way isn't there, which they didn't know. So, yeah, I mean, it's a risk that they took, and they just got clapped for it.
Just really feels like that Zeri can get to that dangerous point where they hit critical mass a little later again. JDG's combo, very potent if you hit it, and it's very easy to hit it if you've blown all the flashes. How likely is that going to happen? How likely is that you're going to blow those summoners, though, to set up for that play? Milky Way is on vision, which means that JDG won't push up.
He's like on vision this whole game, guys, and he still makes plays. What's crazy about him is that he made that play in mid lane even when they knew exactly where he was. Okay, so it's going to be 4 grubs maybe for JDG, or 3 for each. 3 for each looking like.
Malphite that's ulted in, a Nautilus that's hooked in, a Lee Sin that's hooked
Jax
in.
within a very 10-minute Trinity
Rough's
Force,
gone
pretty
for free.
crazy.
Worth noting that it really felt like JDG had good information on when
Really a battle of the junglers too, considering 6 out of the 9 kills are on the junglers right now.
Some absolutely monstrous damage. JDG, they're aware
So that was a
of
pretty
that.
fun game. If you're a Milky Way enthusiast, and how could you not be at this point in time, guys?
Many errors. They tried to get on
Who among you is not a Milky Way believer? Heresy.
some absolutely
Can Navi have flash up for this?
aware of that. They're not giving the easy fight.
Or, I mean, does Xiaolahu have flash up for this? It looks like he does.
They don't make that many errors.
I guess he just chooses not to flash it?
There's still no flash quite yet for Shallow, who's just saying, look, I'm dead.
Oh, he doesn't have flash yet? It's really hard to tell.
Malphite that's ulted in, a Nautilus
Oh, I think he's like I think the flash timer's just barely not up. No, I think it came up right there. I think it came up right there, guys. It's hard to tell, but I think it's up now. It just came up.
Try to get on top lane.
There's still no flash quite yet for Shallow, who's just saying, look, I'm dead. I'll clear out the wave best I can. Dies. Kanavi turns up topside. This time, Milky
So I think he had it up.
And you can see what Shallow was doing. So he needed that wave in so he could finally reset. That was Eclipse Gold. You know why he's there.
Yeah.
But that's sometimes the top laner is.
Milky Way candy bars are trash? Come on, they're nougat and caramel. They're pretty good.
Because Flandre has teleport. He's holding on to his teleport.
Easier to see in the bottom left.
Information on where Milky Way was. Milky Way's playstyle this year is that they don't.
Except they don't click on him?
Errors. They try to get on top lane.
There's still no flash quite yet for Shallow, who's just saying, look, I'm dead.
I think he does have flash up, but they don't click on him, so we'll never know.
The full level over the Jace. It's about half a level right now, I'd imagine. It feels like Flandre will be such.
Just getting trolled by Twitch chat as usual.
In team fights, there are ways to deal with him. Zeri has good mixed damage, and Karma can kind of buff up the targets initiated onto as well. I don't think this Malphite will necessarily have.
How long has Milky Way been a pro player? A couple of months.
Well, Flandre goes back, gets himself a full Sunfire cape.
Any chance there's a guest the next SI? No, that's happening tonight.
Faces life hell in the individual matchup.
100 gold lead to a Malphite and a Jace lane feels pretty bad. Of course, if Shallahu gets time to play alone in lanes, claim some gold back himself, will still be able to be a problem in the side lanes. And actually, a little bit of poke is no bad thing into some of the squishier members of the back line. But
Twix is great.
Flandre kind of just gets to ult on cooldown.
Snickers is my go-to, guys.
Suck it up. Feels
I'm a Snickers fan.
Claimed 4 of the 5 kills himself. Both junglers really being the ones who have been the recipients of all the early gold. Towards the bot lane, we pan the camera highlighting us from up in the heavens here as we throw down some words of wisdom to all of you. We have got a brief moment of calm before dragon spawning in a minute or so. Milky Way's taking this opportunity to look top lane.
So he's looking just to see if he can buy himself a wave crash, maybe get into the enemy jungle to get himself ahead of the game as well. He's a little bit far.
Yes, the Snickers ice cream bars are great.
But this is the thing, right? JDG, they've actually been a very organized team. They've not necessarily been very fast-paced compared to a top esports or, of course, FPX, but they have been a team which stays the course very well. They don't tend to kind of like play these undisciplined fights where they just randomly give up kills. Typically, they've been very good at keeping themselves and their summoners very, very close to their chest and then waiting for that one big fight. It actually reminds me a lot of how JDG used to play when they had Yagao before 2023, when they were playing with the 2022 era and before. Of course, you know, you've got a number of these players who are now 3-peat champions, clearing out the way, but no tower aggro.
Andre tries to go for the
Yeah, no need to flash that because if Kanavi isn't there and you have Milky Way backing you up, which he was in lane while he was pushed, you just get out ult for free.
Towards the dragon spawning, but Milky Way saying, look, we're not in a position to fight. Wave shoved in bot. Let's just claim Herald. Shallow who's resetting anyway.
I don't think
Milky Way just gets free Herald. He knows Lee Sin is bot side, and now there's a Malphite, no flash, and Shallow who has TP to come back in.
JDG, we'll get to see what our rift is, and it is a Mountain Soul. So it's going to be Mountain Soul. I know you can't always see that logo up in the top left, but that's the one that we've got here. That is very, very important. If Malphite starts getting this Mountain Soul, if you have the Nautilus and the Lee Sin getting a little bit tankier as well, he's going to be that more brazen when they're looking for the engage. Those individual dragons doing an awful lot. First item's now being hit across the board though. Shiv, very important for Zeri. Helps you with your kind of stacking up of chain lightning between your ultimate and then also the Shiv as you go into these.
Poke Varus doesn't seem to do much past laning phase. They don't have to have a lot of damage, guys. There's not going to be anybody who's super tanky on the side of FPX. Plus, you could potentially buy Serpent's Fang here as well. But I think it's fine. A lot of comps don't have a lot of tankiness these days. And Alistair's kind of only situationally tanky when he's ulting.
Able to get just more kind of AoE auto damage down onto the waves as Zeri, and when you've kind of been, particularly in that bot lane, cold under tower a bit. Yes, you've survived a lane which looked pretty dicey after some of the early plays from JDG. You can
Mountain Soul from Malphite, obviously pretty darn good though.
Of the game feels like it potentially docked out.
Shallow Hoop. Got to be aware that Flandre has ult again now. You can see that there is some shallow vision that's just come in from JDG, from FPX rather, onto the top side of the map. Considering how badly the early game went in terms of trading 1-for-1, giving Flandre a bit more gold, and then of course Shallow Hoop dying a little later. He's done okay in this side lane matchup. Kerr gets caught by a combo. Is that realistically going to get more? Yes, it is. Good damage.
Here, but it's just too late. Nearly a nice kind of response from FPX to be in the right kind of space, but the combo was just too fast. It was just too much damage.
The other thing is Milky Way and Life, they show on that play as well, which means that now JDG know there is no counterplay. Flandre is ulted top lane. You can see that Shallow Hoop is on very low HP comparative, so Flandre says, okay, well, there's no one going to punish me from not having this ult up. I don't have teleport to influence the rest of the map. Flandre doing well to just making sure that Shallow Hoop doesn't get maximum value out of this isolated lane, and Yagao will take first turret of the game in bot side and get himself ahead of the curve.
Momentary lapse there from FPX, who weren't quite fast enough to defend the play that they knew was likely coming. You can see by the response from Milky Way and Life. We'll see it here. They are on their way. They're on the screen even. Milky Way is waiting and just not fast enough.
I think that when you've got Milky Way with this huge item power spike and flash, you just hope
from Milky Way and Life. We'll see
it's a nice engage on the Kerr.
The screen even. Milky Way is waiting and just not fast enough.
I think that when you've got Milky Way with this
Good combo with missing.
you just hope
Pretty disrespectful to walk up though. Timing wasn't exactly there.
You maybe just trying to, we were saying this earlier, had the Oscars last night. We're trying to have ourselves some award-winning performances potentially.
Will you have Trolley sponsorship again? We're talking to them again. They were very happy with the sponsorship the last time, so.
And they are a team which likes to play fast. They have item break points as well. Feels like while the game's slowing down, you're buying time for Ruler to get a
Maybe they'll come back this summer.
Get himself in for an ultimate position. That's what they're doing. Shallow Hoop, he's going to flash over the wall. Again, this is a problem. FPX, they don't really want to be playing to the beat of JDG's drum, and yet they are.
Shallow Hoop is once again in this position where, oh my days,
He's going to flash over the wall.
Wow.
Again, this is a problem.
This is really a fun game to watch between Kanavi and Milky Way.
Shallow Hoop is once again in this position where, oh my days, phenomenal Kanavi. Again, this is a problem. Once again, this position where,
wow.
The beat of JDG's drum, and yet they are.
Just gets him on the recall. The ward is already there, guys. He uses the ward that's already there to W flash kick Q1, Q2.
Just steps in and kicks Zeri into the dirt.
Oh, who's been talking smack about Kanavi? He comes in on his...
What a fun game to watch. This is actually a banger.
He is not taking any prisoners this game. Dockdown, we talked some good stuff about his Zeri, but we said that occasionally he's had some awkward moments. And Dockdown, why the hell is he recalling that? Big moment here from JDG. Punishes one moment. You can see that now Shallow Hoop without flash on top side. He can't even walk up towards the top tower. JDG, big moment for them to control this top side of the map.
Who was about to say the man has been trying to clear out waves best he can, but you just looked at the blue side control from JDG. The man saw nothing and was so trepidatious in stepping up to the lane and immediately gets jumped on, and then they go back towards the mid lane, and JDG in this mid game can pop off a little bit. Ruler does need to be a little afraid. Is he going to have to flash? No, gets to walk away.
Yeah, I think a good ward hop placement can be. We have a lot of course, previous LCK players and, of course, some LCK champions in here as well. Hello there, Ruler. But, back in the day, some people might not remember this. Does anyone out there as part of the OGN Legion watching the early seasons of Korean League of Legends? There was a term which it's kind of fallen to the annals of time, the annals of history, or the OGN recall, where Korean players were really, really good, but they'd also just randomly recall in stupid spots and die for it. I feel like we still have a little bit of that in some of our now LCK players.
Oh boy, the thing is, it's not the worst recall position I've ever seen. You know what I mean? There was some thought process to it.
We've got ourselves a dragon spawning as well. Probably more important things to talk about. Now, JDG, they have a lot of flashes available. Importantly, not on Kanavi. Now you look at the side of the carry.
Let's look at the setup of this a little bit.
Remember this. From just any distance, absolutely slams Dockdown.
So push forward.
Dockdown was next to a wall. Away.
Yeah, I think he ended up popping the Yomus to get into that position. Might have ran out just towards the end of that play, but good.
Ruler does need to be a little afraid. Is he going to have to flash? No, gets to walk away.
Okay, so there's a recall. There's a recall by Ruler right there, which means that we do have some priority in the river from FunPlus Phoenix. And they use the Herald just to provide the pressure right at the Drake spawn, even though they're not going to get
it's not the worst recall position
any of the Void Mites right there to go along with it, but they already have river control, and they're getting some good damage in from Jace Poke on the front line.
They have a lot of flashes. It also just
Itemization now is Sunfire, Frozen Heart complete for Malphite. Jace at 2 items where I'm on Eclipse.
randomly recall in stupid spots and die for it. I feel like we still have a little bit of that in some of our now LCK players.
Poke battle between the Opportunity Varus and the 2-item Jace.
Position I've ever seen. You know what I mean? There was some thought process to
Anyway,
it.
we've got ourselves a dragon spawning as well. Probably more important things to talk about. Now, JDG, they have a lot of flashes available. Importantly, not on Kanavi.
They can't pressure Baron because it still has 30 seconds until spawn.
Shallow, who importantly, no flash. If he ends up escaping the engage, I think he can run over the back end of this fight. So all eyes on Dogdam. He did keep his summoners from the last play.
We're level 11 as well. Kanavi at 12. Second ranks, there's ultimates can prove very valuable. Do missing. Hunting for a hook, yet to land one. Pretty close so far. Flandre will take the opportunity to step forward. Actually, may have gone a bit deep, but doesn't take all that much damage as yet. Another hook goes wide. That's Life's aftershock, I believe.
Okay, they haven't really used a lot yet. Life hasn't had to ult yet. Got some poke damage down onto Flandre.
If a fight goes badly enough, that might be part of the
Okay, they're on a ward right there. They know where they are. Flandre's going to get stunned. Stun locked, actually. Forced to flash. Nice.
Hook on the other side of the care to little avail. No one really able to follow up, and it's FPX with position, but Flandre has teleport.
Flandre has TP, but he has no flash now.
He knows that's his combat advantage. He's going.
Really good discipline. No ults used by FunPlus Phoenix yet.
But is the dragon going to be gone by the time he's here?
Flash in from Life is flashed away from Ruler. Down to 2,000 HP as a dragon.
Okay, so Life knows that with this wall coming in, Kara's not going to be there. So he actually has to go in and zone using Alistar ult, which he's held this entire time, to buy time for Kara to get past the wall.
Down to 2,000 HP as a dragon. Kanavi into the backside. Does not get that much value.
Milky Way gets it.
Flandre into the backside.
Nice Malfault, though. Huge Malfault.
Flash in from Life. Take it. From Ruler. Down to 2,000 HP as a dragon. Kanavi into the backside.
So Flandre just powers into this fight, finds a great angle.
Flandre into the backside. Shoot! It's a dragon. Kanavi into the backside. Does not get that much value. Dragon take it.
Milky Way actually tries to flash out of this because he sees it coming, but he flashes on top of his teammates, and so does actually get hit by it. It's amazing nobody gets killed off of that. But there's no actual damage follow-up there. Ruler doesn't... It'd be amazing if Ruler still had Chains of Corruption, but he doesn't have it up. When did he use it? We used it somewhere around here. There it is. Oh, he tried to catch Life with it. That's actually bad, because the only thing that would have happened is he would have just forced Life's ult, and that's not a good trade. I don't like that chain attempt by Ruler.
Over the wall, hook on the other side of the care to little avail. No one really able.
But is the dragon
Huge unstoppable force, but dragon take it. Flandre into the backside.
Oh, Milky Way wasn't hit by it. He actually flashed out of it. So he had the reflexes in order to flash out of it. That's really nice. It's only a 2-man.
He can do, and FPX do get out. Yagao flashes forward, gets a seismic shove. Ruler can start to do something back. This arrow could prove deadly until the shield comes on through. Karma's defiance enough to keep Zeri out of danger.
So
that was a fun fight to watch.
Like overall, I think that was the grand total, the grand tally of that fight.
Yes.
So Dogdam.
Karma's damage he can do, and FPX do get out.
I mean, it wasn't really possible to follow up on this, right? You know, Kanavi dies.
Does not get that much value. From Life is flashed away from Ruler. Down to 2,000 HP as a dragon. Kanavi into the backside. Does not get that much.
He tries to kick Milky Way.
From Ruler. Down to 2,000 HP as a dragon. Kanavi into the backside. Does not get that much value. Dragon take it.
Flandre.
Ruler. Down to 2,000 HP as a dragon. Kanavi into the backside. Does not get
Who does he kick?
that much value. Dragon take it.
Flandre.
Ruler. Down to 2,000 HP as a dragon.
That looked really weird. Oh, he kicked Milky Way, I guess?
Not get that much value. Dragon take it.
But he doesn't actually kick Milky Way into anything.
Flandre into the backside. Huge unstoppable force, but Dogdam is alive. From Ruler. Down to 2,000 HP as a dragon. Kanavi into the backside. Does not get that much. Dragon take it.
Goes
And look at
Flandre.
Flandre into the backside. Huge unstoppable force.
A W overrides the kick. Yeah, I think that's what happens because he uses the cooldown, but Milky Way gets hit by the Talia W onto the E, and you see that the kick is used. But I think because Talia's already moving him, it doesn't kick him. It doesn't kick him out this way, is what it looks like to me. So instead, he's actually able to leap strike Kanavi. That's actually pretty huge. He doesn't get kicked out, so instead he's able to get over the wall to get the stun onto Kanavi, which kills Kanavi. Because he leap strikes over the wall as Lee Sin comes over to hop onto a ward.
But Dokdam is alive. Look at how much damage he can do, and FPX do get out.
Yeah, and Zeri getting the kill there is obviously huge. It's a lot of bounty gold.
Karma's defiance, enough to keep Zeri out of danger.
So, Dragon for 1, it looks like overall. I think that was the grand total, the grand tally of that fight.
Yes.
So, Dokdam not able to get the fight which he wanted. Also, Summoners, importantly, away from multiple members on FPX. Feels like JDG, next time they square up, it will be much harder for them to pull that off again. They walk away with the objective. They stop that Mountain Dragon in terms of the stats going over, and of course, also the soul point alongside it. Close run things. We are not really that much closer to determining the outcome of this game. Yagao kind of zones off care from the rest of it. Life just tries to buy some time and stop there being a clean Lee Sin Q onto the Dragon and stuff like that. It gets a little bit dangerous for a while. See that Flandre doesn't end up hitting Dokdam. Importantly, it means that he can kind of start turning and burning. He doesn't quite have the items just yet, though, to take over the fight from that kind of position. He backsteps out, cleanses away, maybe thinks he can get a bit more damage onto Yagao. Just about misjudges that one. Does walk away with his life.
Can't try and dash away, of course, with the Spark Surge, because the Unraveled Earth's behind him, so you would stun yourself. So
Well, that's
his
what
only real way is forwards briefly there.
Well, he ends up like dashing forward and then cleansing anyway.
Yeah.
So he ends up going through it all the same. He just says like, the only way through it, I'm going to try and get myself some kills with it. He does get 2 items now, though. Rule it in quite... Oh!
Wait, there's people here! The shields! He's gone too deep! Kanavi's going to be in trouble. He burned the flash for this one. Remember, no one else has got a bloody flash in the game! Kanavi misses his Q, but still just about alive. Dokdam! Not quite dead. He get down to sub 5 HP.
Yeah, he gets kicked. Yeah, he gets kicked, but then the Talia shove overrides it. I think that's what happened.
Oh.
Wait, there's people here! The shield!
Anyway. So he ends up going through it all the same. He just says like, the only way through it, I'm going to...
You can't dodge Lee Sin kick with Counter-Strike, guys. You can only dodge basic attacks.
Oh.
Wait, there's people here!
Oh my god, Dokdam gets over the wall.
Kanavi's going to be in trouble. He burned the flash for this one. Remember, no one else
Now
has
he's
got a bloody
dead.
flash in the game. Kanavi misses his Q, but still just
Or not?
about alive.
Oh!
Not quite dead. He
Holy
Q,
shit,
but still
actual 1
just
HP.
about alive. Dokdam! Not quite. Kanavi misses his Q, but still
I love look at the damage from the opportunity Q. Lol.
Kanavi misses his Q, but still just about alive. No one else has got a bloody flash in the game. Kanavi misses his Q, but still just about alive.
Chain of Corruption misses again, though.
Not quite dead. He get down to sub 5 HP. Everyone's alive.
Oh my
heart's
god. You know, it's often said if you swing at the king, you best not miss. You can't do that against a ruler either. Very, very nearly take. I don't think JDG have the Baron damage to really take down that one in quick order.
You think Chain hit Zeri?
Not quite dead. Gone too
No.
deep. Kanavi's going to be in trouble. He burned the flash for this one. Remember, no one else has got a bloody flash in the game. Kanavi misses his Q.
Oh, it did hit him. All right, that's why he gets hit by the Q. You're right. It did hit him. It just didn't spread afterwards.
He get down to sub 5 HP.
You are right.
Everyone's alive.
Oh my
heart's
god.
Do these English casters live where the games are taking place? No, they live in Berlin. All of the LPL casters are remote in Europe or in America.
The cavalry comes in to support him as he escapes Kanavi. What does this mean, though? You've got a couple of recalls coming in from FX. I don't think JDG have the Baron damage to really take down that one in quick order. It's not like you have yourself, you know, an on-hit Rage Blade Varus. It's the poke one. God damn, things are getting close, though. I think a lot of this is based around the vision.
This is also not an official cast, no, because they're not casting LPL every day of the week right now. So I think Monday, Tuesdays, maybe Wednesdays. Is it 2 or 3 days? I think they only do 4 days a week. I could be wrong on the official cast. So I think it's Monday. It's either Monday, Tuesdays or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays that it's just co-streamers.
That keeps the jungler alive, and the turnaround damage was nearly more than enough to get Dog down.
Dom moved to Germany just for the spring. I think until MSI, guys.
Control now. The name of the game is Shallow. Once again,
He's not moving there permanently.
desperately
I think it's just for fun because he wants to hang out with Gilius, and also because the time zone in Europe is much better. So he doesn't have to wake up at 3 a.m. to do Asian leagues. What canceled Jace's TP? Malfight? It was Malfault. You can see Malfault in the bottom right corner.
Trading things back, can't quite end up getting a kill either way.
from Ruler that keeps the jungler alive, and the turnaround damage was nearly more than enough to get Dog down. In the end, it wasn't quite enough. Missing. Gets missed with the Ultra Shock laser. Vision control now, the name of the game is Shallow, who once again on the weak side of this case, desperately trying to play reasonably with a lack of vision control.
He's trying his absolute best.
As a late night NA gamer, the stream being up hits the spot. Very good. And yes, I stream on Twitch with a VPN. It's not hard, guys. Although they said that Twitch was discontinuing service in Korea, but I can still watch Twitch without a VPN in Korea, so I don't really know. I guess they just meant that they weren't going to, like, allow streamers to get paid with a Korean bank account anymore to discourage Korean viewership, but it's pretty weird. Because I thought they were concerned about having to pay for bandwidth fees for people watching from Korea. Who knows?
Make sure that the fight wins one before that. Varasalt misses.
This mid lane contest, both turrets still standing, is huge. And FPX down about 1,000.
Ask a question about making an ultimate format video for reference. Yes. We may be able to do that for you.
We've gone for this big shotgun comp. We've gone for the Lee Sin, and yes, the Lee Sin snowball, but
That's probably a project for, well, we're not in the middle of the season right now.
An assassination potential from Kanavi, though, who's spotted out on that ward, and he will hit a Q over. He's going to follow it. No, he won't, but the hook lands missing, going very low.
And Life in turn pops his own ultimate, the Unbreakable Will. Does enough to keep the cow from being thrown on a barbecue.
A plaintive moo comes across as you talk about him.
We'll see how close this is to the actual Mountain Drake spawn here.
Great wave control. This is a big thing. JDG, normally with the Varus, you expect yourself to be able to have lots of mid lane control. Zeri clears waves so quickly with his item builder. It's very hard to have that for any extended period of time. It means that FPX, they can kind of like wait for JDG to push the wave first, but then immediately respond and then return to the objective after that point. Doctam at 3 and 2. Has a decent amount of golden pockets, actually ahead of Ruler individually.
The LCK streams are not going to be longer. No, the LCK will stay on Twitch.
This is the kind of match I want to see. I didn't want this to be a blowout. I wanted this to be a close affair. See how tense it's getting. Both of them fighting over mid lane prio. I think JDG are making a bit of a mistake with this, though.
Are you still moving to Colorado? Yes. But I'm going to stay in Korea for longer. There's no point in me going back to Colorado right now because I don't want to buy a house at current mortgage interest rates. And I can live in Korea for, like, virtually no money. So I will come to Colorado, but it may not be for a year or two.
Enough entry into this river. Do they lose this tower? Again, look how
we'll just see how LFN is doing and you know, how not crazy expensive it will be for me to purchase a house again.
Good position, potentially force out a fight.
Stop the easy recourse, puts their waves in the awkward position.
I'll talk about it after this game.
Both shoving in, so FPX can't spend forever doing this. So they will take the mid lane tier 1, their first turret of the game, but it comes at a hefty cost. That is Mountain Soul point for JDG.
So I think FPX, this time I think they're happy for the trade, because you get yourself that mid lane out of turret, and that'll make it harder for JDG to put down the same wards they've been using to get good angles for Kanavi or missing on the flank to, you know, get onto Dogdam in the mid lane. It's going to be hard to do that now. Look at all these wards in the mid lane on the minimap. Just cast your eyes down there. Those blue wards used to be red. That was where JDG was holding that kind of information warfare battle. FPX have fought back in it. I think it's great to see that FPX have not only been a snowbally team that can accelerate the pace of the game, but actually in a situation like this too, can slow things down and play things out in a more measured way. JDG, they typically run this style of game. They're very good at being disciplined. They don't throw things at you. They don't overcommit to fights very often. You can see in that last fight, you know, Yagao throws out an ultimate, doesn't lead to that much. I don't think his ult's been that great, but at least he's not overcommitting on them or forcing his team to overcommit onto them as well. Gold lead effectively non-existent, and we are going to get ourselves two of our top teams in the LPL showing off in late game team fights to see who can come out on top in game 1.
Mortal Shield Bow is in for Dockdown now as well. That much harder to get a hold of his Flash and Cleanse. Zeri at this point in the game, unbelievably slippery. There's a Karma and an Alistair to try and buy space. Hell, even Milky Way on this Jax. You overdive. His ability to counter-engage is not to be dissuaded. Third eye to complete from Shallow, who has kind of been the kind of unfortunate sacrifice to the way FPX had to play out the early game. He's now online as well.
Worth noting that the Cyrilda's not getting great value right now. You don't have any other lethality to boost up that item. It's another ult from Yagao, and Dockdown is punted back. If it has to dodge away from the hook, here comes Live.
Oh, that is a phenomenal flash headbutt to get Yagao down.
Very nice.
Life, take your...
That item, it's another ult from Yagao.
So one thing that's been good about Life, guys, is that especially when he's been on Maokai and other engage supports, is he works very well with his team, and particularly with Milky Way on engages. So their engage synergy on the map has been very good. And I don't know what Yagao is doing, dude. Legit terrible positioning. He has flash too, but I mean, he doesn't actually have to walk up this much. I mean, he literally just walks straight into the Alistair. And Dockdown can wall ride over to Leah Wall because it counts as terrain. And so he just gets punted in, and even with flash, he can't live through that. And Life is fine because he has Alistair ult up.
Missing, flashing away. The Nautilus still punctured his suit. No longer safe.
Yagao has been kind of trash this game, guys.
Now being brought down as well, and the mountain is felled, tunneled through.
All right.
FPX make it look like Deep Rock Galactic.
Oh my gosh, Rock and Stone, that Flandre Malphite can't get himself the entry once he's not there for the initial part of the fight, and FPX are rewarded for playing a little bit more slow than they usually do.
How is Nightmare not on LEC? I don't know. I think he's really good.
Into a position to poke out that someone on the Baron and look for a steal with Kanavi, but they can't walk over. Not with Dockdown, the ability to wall surf over and get himself a flash. Maybe into the play. FPX, they survive the early game. They survive the mid game, and they walk away with a one fight and the Baron. They are here to play.
What inspiring stuff. FPX do not lose here right now. They managed to do so well in Life. This is phenomenal.
That is top draw. I know a lot of the conversation around FPX has been about Milky Way, as it should be, but Life has had a couple of excellent games. His Rumble support, some of his majors have been what I've focused on, but this Alistair makes the game-changing play here. If they walk away with a victory in this game one, you have to thank Life for it. He's where this all starts.
And we had serious concerns about Dockdown and Life as a duo, perhaps more so than sometimes them individually.
Yeah, I think anyone who watched Dockdown's Ezreal, yeah.
It was almost like the damage was there, but some of those shifts were a little aggro. There was a bit of Abel going on, shall we say.
Now we have ourselves a minute until the next dragon. Baron buff will tide FPX over to this. Problem is, JDG used all of their flashes in that last play. They haven't got the flashes away from the carries they need to, and this is a late
They just have flash. Well, I mean, they still have flash on Ruler, and they can make a play with Kanavi's flash.
Almost at that Lord, exactly, and he's now almost got himself to Lord Dominic's regards. I think FPX have actually overcome JDG at this point. It's going to be so difficult for JDG to find the kills onto the carries. Now it's JDG the ones with the real onus of, you know, being able to weather the storm and look for that one opportunity. I think they're in a losing position now.
Got no teleport on Flandre either, so yes, you've got a couple wards down in the river right now for JDG, but they're not very useful. You can throw Yagao down there.
Really disappointing performance from Yagao, especially with how well Kanavi was doing. He just couldn't find any tandem plays on the map with his ultimate.
FPX are a team which I thought would be,
I don't know why he walks up like that.
Or around that. They'd be in the they wouldn't be making playoffs. They wouldn't really maybe.
Wish we had an LPL podcast. Yeah, the thing is, nobody would watch it.
Well, that'd be mid-table. Well, then
It's like the least watched league by Westerners.
This team's good. They know how to play the game fast, and now playing here as well against the three.
Plus, we already discussed LPL on both Summoning Insight and Power Spike.
Of last year, the 3-peat LCK champion, and they're showing them how to play mid game. FPX's macro has been so good. And
like honestly, guys.
Not get onto as valuable a target this time. It's just Flandre. He will headbutt the Malphite away, who now needs to ult out to safety. Life uses his own ultimate, but they do win.
Honestly, guys, I'm contemplating whether we even need Best Damn League show for LEC and Monty and Wolf show for LCK. So, adding an LPL podcast probably isn't in the cards.
Here comes Life again.
Does not get onto as valuable a target this time. It's just Flandre. He will headbutt the Malphite away, who now
Malphite just has to ult out. Wow.
FPX's macro has been so good, and here comes Life again.
Does not get onto as valuable a target this time. It's just Flandre. He will headbutt the Malphite away, who now needs to ult out to safety.
And he can't ult anybody. He can't ult the other direction because his team is too far away, so they wouldn't be able to follow up at all.
Missing Hex flashing forward, but FPX, they don't even blow that much for it. They blow the Alistair ult. That's about it. But Flandre not having his ult on the Malphite. See how difficult that is. I mean, how do you fight? The problem is about the Malphite. When Malphite ults a flashless target, it looks so non-counterplayable. But because it's so much about these big fights, it's really just about gets away with that. Isn't punished for that one. If Flandre has no flash himself and he's going on to flash full targets, what do you do as this champion? You need to be forcing fights to the point where they don't have the summoners to outplay in the big fight. And Flandre's has not had that kind of angle. And without that Malphite being able to go forward with impunity, without missing, be able to get typically onto the backline and get in range for a Nautilus ultimate. This game looks so difficult. And now with 2 Mountain Dragons to the side.
I'm not saying we're going to get rid of those shows, guys. I'm questioning their value. That's all. I enjoy doing Monty and Wolf show. If people want to keep doing them, then we'll keep doing them. But
they were the mythological heroes on that golden road, but
they're much smaller than Power Spike and Summoning Insight. So I wonder how worth it they are.
Here to show they are not some middle of the pack flash in the pan. They are right up there with the halcyon gods of the LPL life. Dangerous position, maybe, oh maybe, I've just cast a Kirsten. You throw some pretty words out and immediately a man dies.
It's so often we say life finds a way, but it's JDG that find life instead. The cow goes down. They don't blow his ult with flash.
Wow. X-Chip 102, you're back. 91 months. Holy moly.
They don't use that much. They use ultimates, but they don't use flashes. That's important. I think JDG at this point, they need to try and focus on blowing summoners and keeping their own for as long as possible. But it is something. FPX, they won't be able to get as much off of this last push now. Yugao's going to turn up into a side lane, and now we get really into the smoke and mirrors, into the late game macro. FPX have backdoored some of the best teams in the LPL recently. Their late game macro has been arguably the best in the whole of the LPL.
Well, that's because they have FPX has plot armor, and they just mind control their opponents into losing. That's why their macro is good, guys. It's called mind control your opponent, top esports into, you know, trading Baron for game.
Sweat a little before they can close it out.
They teleport in. Doctam flashes out. They try to get Konomi. It's a good headbutt away. They don't get him over the wall. Doctam trying to survive. Finally gets to throw down the lightning crash. Does not die quite yet. Survives. Doctam.
Wow. Well, that's it. Game's over.
The burst fire goes full auto, and FPX win out. Life with another clutch save.
Oh, but the power of the stars.
Life is MVP this game, by the way, guys.
JDG are on the retreat. They swing for Doctam, and they just about miss. He's bleeding out, but he gets it brought back up to his feet by his teammates. JDG, I think they might just be losing game 1.
They're on the march on in. Olympus is
I need a PR personality to host the shows. What would you call me and Thorin, who overwhelmingly drive the viewership on this network?
Tale to be done, but FPX have decided they are here not just to play, but to win.
And now we get to see how JDG can pick up the broken pieces again. Kanavi, he's found it really hard to get clean plays onto the backline. It's so hard to get to the carries, but behind the Jax, behind the Alistair, Flandre forces the flash. Kanavi tries to get past life, but goes just a little too close to the Raging Bull. And even with the
it's amazing Milky Way lives through that, by the way. And he even has the ball. Like, I love Milky Way. Look at this guy. He gets hooked in, gets W'd in, has Counter-Strike, right? Flashes out, leap strikes over.
Can't finish Jax behind the Alistair. Flandre forces the flash. Kanavi tries to get past life, but goes just a little too close to the Raging Bull. And even with the
And then, look at this. Even has the balls to come smite Kanavi. That's a smite right there, guys. Then he just, like, auto-attacks him for fun a few times, and he gets the kill. What the fuck is that? Like, he doesn't panic at all. This guy actually just has nerves of steel. He just maxes damage. Like, what the fuck? Why would you do that?
FPX win out that fight by the slimmest of margins. Now, JDG, what do? Again, you don't have summoners now. On the other side, though, no flash on Doctam, no flash on Milky Way. What can you do? Here comes Missing.
Trying to get in. That's a fairly decent knock-up into the backline. Kanavi goes again, but still cannot deal with Doctam as Shaola, who goes into the backside as well. Jace here to play. The hammer comes.
Eden JTV, thank you for your Twitch Prime sub.
FPX's chance to win the game. Doctam
The other side, though, no flash on Dockdown, no flash on Milky Way. What can you do? Here comes Missing. Trying to get in. That's a fairly decent knock up into the backline. Kanavi goes again, but... Now JDG
Kanavi trying desperately to get onto Dockdown.
No flash on Dockdown, no
Hex Flash grabs Karma.
Here comes Missing.
Q comes in, tries to W behind Dockdown. He can't get the angle, though. And he gets stunned. Who does he kick? Oh, I guess he kicks Dockdown the wrong direction.
Dockdown, no flash on Milky Way. What can you do? Here comes Missing. Trying to get in. That's a fairly decent knock up.
Yeah.
Goes again, but still cannot deal with Dockdown as Shaolo, who goes into the backside as well. Jace here to play. The hammer comes.
Oh, he kicks Jace. I'm blind. He kicks Jace forward. Dockdown just skating to the side.
Dockdown as Shaolo, who goes into the backside as well. Jace here to play. The hammer comes crashing on down into the sky. FPX's chance to win the game. They're teleporting in. Care is there. And Ruler just cannot be careful enough. Ruler loses his crown. FPX win game.
Damn.
It's Doc. It's not a Doe MVT.
So crazy, this team.
The same style.